The Littlest Giant, the picture you are now going to see, was prepared for the National Consumer Finance Association to build a better understanding of the part played by consumer credit in the economy of the nation, and to show how the consumer finance companies serve the American family. The Littlest Giant is being shown all over the country, to schools, to service clubs, and to our customers. We think you will be interested in seeing the story of how your business operates and the service it provides. America is a land of many giants. Some of these giants are the industrial concerns that each year turn out billions of dollars worth of goods and services. These industries are guided by skilled managers of mass production and mass distribution. The giant force which delivers the outpourings of farm and factory to retail outlets all over the nation. But the managers of every business, no matter how successful it may be, tremble when the shadow of a certain giant passes by. This giant casts his shadow over every business in the land. A snap of his fingers, and industries vanish. A wave of his hand, and new ones appear. And who is this colossus? This earth shaker? Edgar Q. Smith, that's who.
Hey, that's me. I'm Edgar Q. Smith.
Right, Edgar. You're the littlest giant, but the most powerful of all, the American consumer. Each year you consume fantastic amounts of food, clothing, housing, amusements, appliances, and services of all kinds. This mass consumption makes you the most powerful giant in the land. And you have the best tools in the world to work with. On the job, that is. These tools make you the world's most productive worker. And the money you earn gives you the purchasing power that makes you a real giant.
What do you know? So I'm a giant.
Uh-oh. Looks like you'll have to apply a little of that important purchasing power. But when Ed goes to buy the brush he needs, just give him a chance, and like most of us, he'll buy a lot of other things which couldn't be called exactly essential. So the loose money in Ed's pocket usually doesn't last for long. Then how can Ed Smith, consumer, maintain a savings account and still make all the big purchases that support the nation's industry? How can he plan on sending a boy through college and still buy these major appliances? And minor ones as well. Well, the big reason is that Ed can buy the things he needs and wants on a pay-as-you-go basis by using consumer credit that is available to him in many forms. His service credit, for example. He doesn't think of it as credit when he pays his utility bills only once a month instead of from day to day. Or when his doctor and dentist bill him monthly instead of collecting at each visit. He has sales credit and can open a charge account, buy things on time, and for things that need actual cash, he also has cash installment loan credit. Yes, a lot of this credit is taken for granted today. But things weren't always this way. Ed's great-great-grandfather, for instance, never even heard of cash installment loans. For one thing, cash wasn't nearly as important in those days, when a keen eye and an ounce of powder were all you needed to put meat on the table. In colonial times, families produced the necessities of life with their own labor. Even when they moved west, cash wasn't very important. Neighbors could help each other with most things. A man didn't need much cash when he could trade the things he produced himself for whatever he needed. But then people began moving into cities and working for wages. Now cash became very important. Matter of fact, cash was absolutely essential to pay for the necessities of life. And even in those good old days, emergencies were always coming up that required extra cash. But a fellow who needed cash then was really in a tough spot. No institution at that time had enough faith in the integrity of the little guy to make him a cash loan. The only source of loan credit for lots of people was this character. the illegal lender, the loan shark. Businessmen and others saw the need for a legitimate source of loan credit. They went to legislators in various states and together worked out a solution for the problem. Several states passed small loan laws, all of which had certain things in common. The maximum size of the loan was set by law. The maximum rate of charge was set by law. Charges were to be made only on the unpaid balance, and the loan could be repaid at any time without penalty. So borrowers quickly sought the protection they needed. Consumer finance, founded on a firm belief in the integrity of the American family, meant the end of the loan shark. After this pioneering effort, other lending agencies entered the field. Today, there are many sources of loan credit, each with its place in the credit community. Consumer finance companies specialize in cash installment loans, made on a personal basis with little or no security required. Over 9,000 of these offices make more than 10 million loans each year, one for every 7 families in the United States. Most borrowers are just like Ed, stable citizens of the community. They borrow money for lots of reasons. To pay for moving expenses, for the upkeep and repair of homes, to help a son or daughter through school, or to aid friends and relatives. Some people borrow cash to pay for travel and vacations, and many others use cash to consolidate their bills into one monthly payment they can handle. Others use cash loans to take advantage of timely bargains. Every day, thousands of people just like Ed borrow money from consumer finance companies to pay bills or to make cash purchases. Consumer finance companies provide many services. For instance, the customer learns how to budget his income according to an orderly plan. He learns how to solve his financial problems. And there are many other services, too. Now, to give Ed a better understanding of what it costs to provide all these services, we'll put him in the business of lending money.
Who, me?
That's right. And we'll give you $100,000
Oh, boy!
to lend, Ed.
Oh, boy.
And let's say you specialize in large loans to businesses and corporations. After you check on the company to see if it's a good risk, you lend your $100,000 all at once. You enter this one loan on your books. At the end of the loan period, the money is repaid. Now, what must you charge that borrower to pay for your cost of doing business and earn a reasonable profit?
Good risk, one set of books, small staff, handled the loan just 2 times.
Let's figure it out on this little daisy computer.
Well, with my low cost of doing business on this one big loan, I can charge a low rate and still earn a profit.
Now, if you're going to loan $100,000 in the consumer finance business, instead of one big loan, you'll have to make nearly 500 individual loans. All applications have to be processed, too, whether you make loans or not. You need a lot of help to do this, as well as to keep track of the payments every month. And because you have a personal service business, personal service is what you have to give. By the time your $100,000 has been repaid, those 500 loans will require more than 10,000 bookkeeping transactions. So now, what's your cost of doing business?
Well, with 500 loans and 10,000 transactions, it's bound to be higher.
That's right. If you're in the business of making big loans to a few people, it's a kind of wholesale operation. Making loans in small amounts to a lot of people is a retail operation. So your rate of charge will have to be enough to pay for all the services you provide and earn a reasonable profit. Now, Ed, you've had some first-hand experience in this business. Remember, every one of these borrowers is just like you. They need and must have cash loan credit available through consumer finance companies to get cash to buy the things they need and want for better living. Consumer loans in the hands of millions of American families add up to tremendous purchasing power. Purchasing power that creates consumer demand for all kinds of goods and services that mean a rising standard of living throughout the nation. Each year, consumer finance companies pump more than $3 billion into the economic bloodstream of the country to help create the giant who is responsible for the success of big and small businesses throughout the land. Wherever his shadow passes, constructive growth is the result. And who is this giant? None other than the American consumer. The littlest, yet the most powerful giant in the land.